The checklist for Street Fighter game, check. Control to make me feel like an elitist, check. Headband so I feel like Daniel Bloody LaRusso, check. Attitude, Zetai Katsuza. Ready, fight!
So, time to give you a bit of an introduction. So, my whole experience with fighting games is pretty minimal. I've played fighting games all my life though. I mean, I first started off with Street Fighter. That was when I was young, when it was on the Super Nintendo. At that time, it was more about just smash, we gotta hit the buttons. But as I did get older, I did realise there's a combo list. Well, it was more of a moveset, and I moved away from Street Fighter because at the time, I just progressed to the next game that I saw, which it went Mortal Kombat. Then it went to Tekken, and when I was into Tekken, I was really into it. That's the game that I thought, I'm going to learn loads of moves. I went into the combo list. At that time, it was a lot harder to find things on the internet because the internet wasn't as big as it is now. So to find any information, you literally had to either scour magazines, like game magazines and stuff like that. Unfortunately, that's all changed now. Or you could say fortunately, because that means everyone's good rather than just one person being good. So the whole idea of this series was to see if it's possible for someone like me, midlife crisis, if they can return back to fighting games. And I've been playing games all my life still, and I've played first-person shooters, I've played strategy games, but I've always had a special place in my heart when it came to fighting games. And the reason why is because you are the only person who carries yourself. You're playing a first-person shooter, usually you've got a bunch of other teammates, and I don't like the feeling of either carrying someone or getting carried, because it's not a great feeling. Whereas in a fighting game, if you mess up, that's down to you. If you make a mistake, you're the one who's made that, no one else. There's no blaming. The only person who you can blame is yourself, or lag, but that's always going to be a problem until everything gets sorted. So I thought the best way to start this would be to actually show you an early match, and it's more for me to see an early match of see where I've come from and where I am now. My first character I started with was actually Rashid, and I started playing him, and when I started playing him, I fell in love with him. I thought he was absolutely amazing. He seemed, well, he probably is absolutely amazing if you can actually use him, but for me, I just found after many tries, which you'll see, that I couldn't quite get the grips with him. Like, I'm just going to ignore these first few matches, because these first few matches was actually against a friend. And keep scrolling. So it looks like our first match is against someone called Toast85, but I'm not sure what happens in this. We had two matches, so either I won against him or he won against me, and I always rematch when you can, because if you lose against someone better than you, it's a good chance for you to improve. Oh, there we go. So it looks like we got absolutely smashed. Time to see. Level 12 with Rashid at the time. Ooh. Okay, seems fine. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh no, that was alright. Yep, and I got absolutely punished there. That was one of the things I noticed straight away. His grabs always was my nemesis at first, and it's because I let people push me. See this guy. There we go. And I walk towards people's fists. Oh. Which I still do. I wanted to double check this is me. This isn't bad. I think one of my problems I got told with this is I don't put out enough damage, as in, like, when I'm doing my basic attacks, I would literally prod, but I'd never actually finish it up with an actual decent proper combo. Yeah, this guy's wrecking me. Yeah, okay. Do we want to watch that again? Absolutely not. Okay, so before each match, I do come into the labs and I try my hardest to actually do some inputs, but it all depends, because sometimes my inputs are just so squiffy. My hand it can't decide which stick to use. I mean, should I use my pinky? Should I use 2 fingers? Should I go for 2 fingers in the pink, 1 in the stink? I don't fucking know. But it's trying to find what feels comfortable for me, and unfortunately I can't decide between the 2 at the moment. So first of all, before I get started with this, I need to go over what I actually learned. I mean, what did I learn? How have I been learning in the training arena? Well, I've been doing what I've been told, which is what YouTube videos tell you to do and what people tell me to do. And the most important thing before you do anything, before you even get the opponent to attack you, is learn your damn inputs. I mean, you're talking the basic ones, whether it's just punch, punch, kick, kick. I love how I just reversed what I said there and did the opposite, but you know what I mean. Like punch, punch, kick, kick. So yeah, I haven't learned my damn inputs. But I mean, learning your inputs just seems so vital. And I think before you even think about a combo, you need to make sure most of your inputs are perfect. And I still struggle with inputs, but I'm still trying to learn combos. So I'm kind of backtracking on what I said, but everyone wants to learn combos. But yeah, so first off, with your aerial attacks, learn how to anti-air with everything. I'm not going to go through his anti-airs. I'm not great at his anti-airs. Zeku's ones are a bit bizarre because, well, old Zeku's main one would be, it's a dragon kick or dragon punch, whatever you want to call it. Or, yeah, that's the main one he's got. He has got some other ones, but that one seems to work the best. And obviously you've got 2 ways of doing it. That way, which I thought was the only way, but then I was told there's an easier way. Back forth, back forth. Oh, beautiful, especially since most of the time you're crouching when they're going to jump on you. But yeah, that was the old Zeku, young Zeku's. He's even got his light punch, which seems to work sometimes, but the more common one is to do that move, and then obviously follow that up with his forward palm. But yeah, it's just learning those inputs and just make sure they're right. Anti-air is one of the things that I think you need to learn so early at the beginning, because that is the way you'll climb through bronze, because everyone jumps, and that is the most important rule. Apparently everyone says don't jump, yet I still see myself jumping all the time. I don't know why. I think it's because I test them, so if I land a jump on them once and they just don't anti-air, I'll try it again. If they still not do it, I'm like, okay, this is easy enough. But obviously don't let it become a habit, because you'll end up doing it all the time, and I'm trying to break the habit, because even when you go to the later bronze, people have clocked on and will knock you out of the air, so don't. Other than anti-airs, your other basic moves, obviously your grabs that you got to do, you got your just punches, kicks, just learn them all and just see. I found one thing that was helpful to do is learn the range, so get as close as you can before it actually is the cut point and go, okay, that's as far as he's going to go. He looks like he's hitting his shoulder a bit, but you know, you need to step a tiny bit closer to hit that, and it's the same with all your other ones. Can that get a bit closer? And I think distancing is a massive thing, because especially for someone like Sagar or Dalsem, he's got range for days. Well, yeah, I mean, that's one thing I find really important. Next thing, like I just did there, just by the way, if I get any lingo wrong, please correct me. I literally have no idea. I'm just saying special move. Just special moves, like his techies and his kokus. That one's his koku, that's his techie, I think. I don't even know what that one's called. I have no idea. And he's got his other one, which he does his little roly attack. But like I said, I'm not going into each of his moves. I'm just saying that you need to learn those over and over again. Keep doing it until you master it. And for the most of it, I get it most of the time. So anytime I need to do it, I didn't get it there. And that's another thing. Train your weaker side, because that's not what I've done. I need to train the side, because this is the side I am weaker with. And I can tell. I mean, I can get it a lot of time. But when it comes to certain moves, especially when I'm doing combos, my hands get a little confused, and that's why I keep changing from my pinky and my other finger, because I think that's to blame, but it's probably not. Then after you learn all your basic moves, move on to combos. And now combos are something that I want to ask questions about, and I will ask questions, because quite frankly I'm still confused about some combos. I mean, obviously with combos you got to worry about all your frames, and I'm starting to learn frames, but frames are confusing, more than confusing. I mean, I look into it and it's interesting, but I mean, for me as a new player, I know it's important to learn frames, but I think that's what a lot of people get stuck in the head. They need to learn frames, otherwise they can't play the game. I don't know frames, and I will never become good until I learn them, because I need to learn which of my frames, like startups and what, are quicker than others, so then I can pop off a hit I don't know if that works that way, but you know what I mean. If my frames are going to outbeat theirs and etc, etc, yeah, if I do a counter, I'm getting +2 on that. So that means I can use a medium attack rather than a light attack, and that's the stuff that I'm trying to learn and know when to use certain moves. But mind blown, essentially. There's so much involved. So for me, what I've been just focusing on is stuff that I can do now and there. I will focus a bit more as I progress to when I hit my counters more, and I'm trying to learn when I'm hitting them more and using those moves. But I think where people say learn the bread and butter, I think that is a staple, because that is what I've done with this character. I've learned some of these basic moves that he should do, and then just keep practicing them over and over again. And that's one thing I realized is I was looking at combos at first. I was like, why is this combo not working? Say for example, just a kick and a punch. So yeah, you want to get your timing right, because I suck at timing. I'm still getting used to it. It's like bam, bam, that's wrong. Bam, bam, that's wrong. And what you want to do is bam, bam, that's right. Bam, bam, that's right. Bam, bam, that's right. And you'll see the 2 hit, and that's how I'm sort of gauging it. And it's good to know when to stop as well, because sometimes you'll hit it and you'll like hit and you'll hit it wrong and be like, oh shit. And then you're about to follow it up, and then you're just leading yourself into getting punished. And that's something I'm trying to keep my eye on as well as a new person. So obviously when you get your 2 hits in there, you can then follow it up. I just messed up entirely there, but bam, 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 bam. There we go. And that's a simple bread and butter 4-hit combo that just seems to work really well. And that works as well because this attack is a lift up attack which knocks them up, so then you can go for that punch. Because I didn't realize that's another thing you have to be aware of. Obviously if they're crouching, you're screwed. It's so much to think about in this game. I didn't realize when I first started this it would be as crazy as it is, and learning just things like the crouch. So say for example if I punch, although that punch is there and I can follow that up, if that missed entirely because he's crouching still, but I can go for the forward Koku to knock him down. But then this actually lifts him up, so you can go bam, bam, and he's still up. Look at that, beautiful. Oh, it works. Oh, so it's knowing what your attacks do and all that sort of stuff that I just feel like so much to learn. But anyway, into combos, yes, you could do stuff like that. You could do obviously more fancy stuff, etc, etc. Young Zeku has got easier combos, I feel, because he's quicker, but I feel quicker characters should be harder. But I'm struggle a bit more with combos with older Zeku. I don't know why. But so a great example is one of these light ones, which does quite a amount of damage for considering it's quick poke attack. It's a nice 5-hitter, and you can obviously bam bam to test it out, so you can actually do it at 6-hit. Bam 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 bam. Yeah. And that's stuff I like to test, because at first I was like, why can't I get these medium attacks in? So I started doing this. Now poking them a bit, and then use the medium ones for when they do an attack, and I can whack them back with a medium. I can do crouch, crouch, down, damp, and I messed up now. Bam, bam. Yeah, and then you can follow up with a forward punch, but I messed it up as well. And that's the point. Is a new player. As a new player, people try and explain, oh, you just got to learn this input, you got to learn this input, but it's not easy. It really isn't easy. And you add the stress of the match in there, and my god, it's fun. I love it, but it is stressful. So, crush counters. I don't really know much about these at the moment. I've been focusing mainly on combos, and yeah, I think this is my next step that I need to learn, because although I've learned some bread and butter combos that will work against people, I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of damage. And one thing I noticed I miss out on a lot of damage is my critical arts. Before I get in, actually no, I'll focus on this first. So before I get into critical art attacks, I'm gonna go over my crush counters, which involve some critical art bars and stuff like that. Yeah, so basically, I've only started learning these. I started learning it over lunchtime just because I realised I'm not doing them at all. And when I do a crush count, I'm like, oh, what do I do? So they seem to be doing a lot of damage, and they seem very important, and I should really look into it more. But I think this is one I learned earlier. So it was down, back. Yeah, oh yeah, that's it. Bam, bam. And again. And you can leap forward and get it. Yes! 311 damage. Beautiful. It's not bad. I mean, there's probably much more efficient ways to do damage. But yeah, that's one thing I learned. Need to learn more about it, but I thought I'd include that in the list. Okay, so as a new player, we learn combos. I mean, we'd learn, obviously, our basic combos that we'd actually use a lot. And they're the 2 I use. I mean, they are the staples. They do a decent amount of damage. They're easy enough to do, so it's that and that for prodding. But then I realised obviously I'm not really doing much for the kicking aspect of it, and that's what I've been trying to sort of focus on today. How can I get some kicking in there? But that's where I started doing the counters. But I don't know if it might be just me. There probably is more. I need to look up more. But his kicks don't seem to really lead to anything. Not that I know of, unless you get a counter on it. Obviously, you can't do it from medium to medium, but I mean, old Zeku, he can do a sweep, which leads to a lot of his attacks. But other than that, his kicks don't seem that great. But his sweep is amazing because it fools a lot of people. That obviously high level players, I imagine, it won't. But critical arts, back to that. So critical arts, that. When I say critical arts, I'm not on about the whole, oh, look at me, I'm fancy and I do big moves, which can be really awesome if you lead them from a combo, but then damage scaling is a big thing and didn't realise that. That's the thing. So, for me, critical art, I use the bar mainly for just, you know, your power attacks. I will try and use a critical art if I can kill them, like if it does the half a bar, which you can do relatively straightforward. But I mean, for me, I kind of want ease of use, but at the same time I'm falling into this trap where I've realized that I'm not actually using the bar at all, and I'm losing out on all that damage. I'm winning matches, but I'm not using it, and I could be winning it a lot easier. So I've been just trying to ingrain into myself, use your bar. Use your bar. And yeah, for a great example of this would be, as I said, one of the most basic ones that I do is that, which does 224 damage, which is respectable, and that's from a medium attack. Whereas if you just use one of these critical arts bars, you can basically go to that, jump up, do a jump and grab, 283 damage. I mean, that's quite a substantial difference, and it's so easy. I mean, there is other fancier ones you can do. For example, if you do this, and then you can actually go into that and then do the other thing, and I really suck at this, so that's the one I stick to. 283 damage versus however much this one is, 286. You could do more if you did a heavier attack, but I didn't do it there. It's a bit more damage. It's not huge because you got the extra hits, which increases, well, decreases that, decreases or increases, whatever, it just reduces the attack because you're doing more and more hits. So the difference isn't substantial for the difficulty of the combo. And that's a question for actually the more veteran players. I mean, is an extra 10 damage worth the stress of worrying about the more difficult combos? I imagine if the difference is like 50, 60, then yeah, absolutely. Because either way, you're going to ingrain those combos into your head. But as a new player, I'm still trying to decide if it's really worth putting all that extra effort in. And I'm sure that combo isn't that hard, but getting that timing right while stressing because other people are attacking you. I mean, I'm not even against anyone right now, and I'm screwing up. I mean, it's so much more stressful. Okay, you can't do a heavy on that one. But anyway, yeah, it's so much more stressful to do. They're the decisions I feel like I'm struggling to make. The one more thing I wanted to go over in the labs was the critical arts super bar, which I rarely use in an actual match because I wish I could and I wish I would, and it's easy enough to do outside of a match. But as soon as I get in a match, I either totally forget about it or my input just screws up because I'm just so bothered. But when I finally get that combo in, I'm like, I want to be able to hit it, and oh shit, no, I've even missed one of the basic inputs. And I guess this will come with experience, but from now, I'm just like, in training, I can do it relatively straightforward most of the time. There we go. That's a nice simple one, and it does, you know, I would say a respectable amount of damage. 437. That's not bad at all. I mean, you can do better ones, etc. But I mean, for the most of it, I do not use it, and I don't know why. Most of the time I can just pop it out without even thinking, but my hand sometimes does like, oh, what am I going, where am I going? And yeah, and I'm more bothered about just getting that consistent damage rather than that awkward damage. But I still feel like I should just go for it anyway, because if I don't, I'll never improve. I need to do the difficult, otherwise I won't improve. It's like going against the person. If you keep going against easy people, you're never going to get better. I think there was one other thing that I really didn't go into, which was when you're actually in the training mode, don't do this. Don't just focus on a standing dummy. Well, at first do it until you get that combo nailed, Once you've got that combo nailed, you really want to be able to set your opponent to attack, whether it's setting it to CPU to 4, 5, whatever, so until you feel like he's a bit of a challenge, so you've got to block and then time your stuff and actually make sure you hit it, whether you set your person to crouch and block first attack only and all that jazz. You need to change it up. You need to even just like going in there, record a bunch of actions. I mean, look at other videos how to actually record efficiently and stuff like that. You can record a bunch of actions that you've got to learn block against and learn actually how to do all your crush counters, all your combos and all your punishes and all that lingo which people always say and I don't understand half of it. I just look at it and go, oh, they're pretty colours. Yeah, you've got to learn all that and go against that. Don't just go against this still figurine like I am right now. Just don't practice against a still target. You won't improve that much. So if you've made it this far, I know it's been a bit wish-wash and all over the place with this video, but it was more me trying to I know it sounded almost like a tutorial, and please, that is not my intention at all, because I am the last person you should be taking a tutorial from. This is purely my experience when playing the game. And I can tell you what, it's been a hell of an experience so far. I am 70 hours in, which is a lot. Probably a bit more than 70 hours now. Some of those hours have been just getting the video prepared and stuff like that. And a lot of that time has been in the labs, just training, trying to get those inputs right. And I still feel like I am so far off. I need every input to become just so natural. It's like when you play guitar, when you're learning any instrument. When you learn an instrument, it just becomes so natural feelings, muscle memory. That's the great thing with your muscles. They will remember certain actions and they'll be able to do it every time. And that's what it's been what I've been trying to sort of comprehend at the moment, trying to get my, I would say brain, but you don't want your brain to work. You kind of want it to go idle so you can think about the match. But that's the whole idea. It's for me to show you my experience, whether it's a new person looking and going, oh, maybe I can potentially learn this game, or maybe it's a person who has been playing for years and years who's actually generally interested in to see what it's like for a new person who doesn't have really any Street Fighter experience to jump on a game that's as complicated as it, and how much goes into learning it. And I'm hoping that you do stick around for my next videos, because this is just an introduction of where I've been, and what I plan to do next will probably come in the next video. And the next video is going to be more about my climb, and we are going to be doing live matches. They're not going to be live Twitch, but they are going to be recorded live, so if I make mistakes there is no escaping it, because I'm just going to be doing my climb or fall from silver. And this is I'm gonna leave this running, and this is going to be the last match which took me to silver. He was relatively easy, which I was glad about. I did make a few mistakes in it, but either way, I was kind of happy that I was just silver either way, and just walked away with a smile on my face. Well, can I progress past silver now, or will I fall back into the bronze league? And what do I need to do to get better? Whether it's actually, if I'm still in the bronze league, am I still fighting like a bronze player? How can I stop fighting like a bronze player and start fighting like a silver, gold player, whatever? But anyways, I hope you do return for the next video, and please enjoy this clip, and hopefully I'll see you in the higher ranks? Question mark.
Round one. Fight!
Zeku wins.